like I have previously stated, the difference was I use my cannons for mining. I use my cannons for, what they would do is they would clear off all the dirt off the hillside, and then my ships would show up, and then they would be like, okay, on survey mark number 682 over there up against the thing, and then my cannons would fire the cannon shot, and they would go, and it'd be like a little bit, 20 degrees higher and 45 degrees over. Come over 200 feet. Okay, and so my cannons on my ships would go, and they would just kind of be like, okay, that's just about right. Just go a little bit higher. And then, and then it'd be like, all right, that's perfect. And then so my cannon people would walk the cannons around. That's why a lot of the cannons had 4 cannon barrels, because we were actually, we'd go, he'd like, okay, because they would say, okay, start 5 degrees lower, and then work your way up. And it was like raking a hillside with cannon shot. And my cannon shells go boom right into the rock face and goes and make the rocks come apart. We bust granite. We bust the hardest rock possible, basically, with the cannon shot. The big cannons. That's what we use the 18-inch cannon shells for, and the 16-inch cannon shells. And that's why it mattered that the 16-inch cannon shot could actually, because when it comes down with the same force. And it's actually better because the 18-inch cannon shot is actually like a wide shell, and the 16-inch shot, it gets deeper penetration. So that's another reason why I knew all that, because like we were going through rock. So I want, to just explode the surface isn't really that good. We wanted to really get down there, and get through into that, to penetrate deep, to really get the rock underneath to go. And that's what that's what I use my battleships for. As leading producer of rock chips or whatever. We move, boom, 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 and then we would do that. And then once we get the shots lined up, then we would do that every day for like months. My ships would just sit out there going, every morning they would do it. And then mid-lunch, and then they would break for lunch, and then we do it again. And then they would do it again, and then I think one final time, like later on in the evening, we'd hit it again. So anyway, and then they would get the cannon shot and enough to replace my shells, because of the service I was doing. So picking up the pieces of the cannon shot, or just getting all that rock then melted and turned back into what's called. And then so I was like, they would give me the percentage, so I got my shells back, and then the next day we would, so I had an overflow of shells. Most people, like I say, back in the old days, most big rich families would have like 20 cannon shells on a job site. And that's another thing, is sometimes I'd be like, well, we'll just keep it going, and you know what? You have your 10 shells, so we'll just add your 10 shells to my shells, and then we'll go ahead and pound that hill really hard. I'll go ahead and use up 50 shells or 40 shells of my shells, on your site, and then we won't worry about it. So these people who normally only had like 5 or 6 shells of shell, I'd be like, okay, and I'll take a percentage, like a third or whatever, of the extra that you get per day. And then that makes it worthwhile for me, and it makes it worthwhile for them, because they get more shells, and they don't have to worry about having like 20 shells. They can do the same amount with, and then I just get like half of whatever they get. So they get a little bit more, and I get my thing. So because most people would have 5 shells, or a rich family might have 120 shells, so they'd be shelling, And so anyway, yeah. So that's how it worked out with all that, and that's what I use them for. So, and everyone else was using their cannons for other people did use their cannons for mining, but then again, there are those people who also use their cannons for killing people. That's why later on it's like, well, normally I use them for mining, but in your case, boom. And I was like, okay, and an investigation. Whole place investigation. And they did the little thing, like they measured off from the roads, because I was also surveying my new lands because I was like, I mean, we had surveyed for the safety house and everything because we had built all the embankments, we had built all the cannons, and it's like, well, I'm taking down my own defenses. I mean, the defenses that I built for this guy. So because and I tried not to kill his family. I was like, I don't really want to kill his family. I just want to take him out. I don't know how many people we took out, but we took out quite a few. And like I say, I was just doing the world a service, basically. He had killed enough people that he was a problem. So, and some good people. Like there's some people I cared about. So, anyway. So that's, and then I become like the largest drug supplier, and I think there was some family members of him, and I was like, well, and normally in this kind of situation where, someone would kill a drug dealer, it's like, whatever, and it's like, no, give him a new house, and I was like, no, give him a new house, and let's give him some money from the business, so. And she was really happy, or the family was really happy because, it wasn't the normal kind of situation where it's like, how normal drug dealers are. So because I'm Lucifer. So anyway, and a lot of people once they found out, there was a lot of people like, so you like giving drugs to little girls, eh? It's like, excuse you. So it was kind of funny because I got it from both sides. It was like, so the deals are going to be the same, right? And you know what that means, right? And if you double cross us, if you turn states on us, we're going to get you. And it's like, turn states or rat on you. I was like, was that a threat? It was really good. It was like, and then later on, people were coming to me like, so you like to get kids high, eh? It's like, excuse you again? Or excuse this new person? It was classic. Like, I wish people could have actually like been there because it's like, it was classic because like, because I was like, well, and then so like I was surveying the land and everything else, and then I'm like, and let's look at water supply and everything else, and I was getting into it. So, and that's how it began. And I think I forget if I had a mercenary force at that point in time. I think I might have paid the people because when I didn't have people that would go for the cause, I would just pay people, and it's like, well, I know it's a just cause, so apparently he was a really bad person, I guess. Anyway, at least that's what all the evidence showed. And then there was these other bad people, and then we found out about this other stuff where they were killing people and blah blah. It's like, well, we got to get them too. So then, my whole existence just went from this to, it was just, it was a very, very, very. I was like, this is a new feeling for me. And all of a sudden I was in the drug business. It's like a line that people would be repeating in movies for years. And all of a sudden I was in the drug business. It's like, well, yeah, I mean. And then so they're measuring off where people died. Because normally I do security and rock stuff. And so it was a whole new thing. And then, like I say, when people found out who, there was me, Lucifer, they're like, oh, okay. And I was doing this other stuff. And they're like, So because normally I was the law and I was like police force and I was going after these people and blah blah, and normally I go for jail, and it's like, no, this time he was too well defended, so we just hit it hard. So then when we do all these other raids and hit all these other people that are also like, suck it. And like that kind of thing where it's like, well, you got to do for me, and if you want to get the, and I'm like, no, we're not going to do it like that. No, they pay cash, they pay money, nothing. We're not doing that. So